Greetings, friends. Welcome to CTUCC ConferenceCast for July 19th, 2012, the regular podcast of the Connecticut Conference of the United Church of Christ. Whoever you are, and wherever you may be on life's journey at this very moment, you are welcome here. We begin this week's conference cast with this meditation from the Reverend Ineke Mitchell, Northwest Central Regional Minister. In the 6th chapter of Mark's Gospel, he tells of Jesus' attempt to find some time alone with his disciples, but they can't do it. Wherever he goes, there are huge crowds straining to touch him and be healed. At the sight of them, his heart broke, says the text. Like sheep with no shepherd they were. He went right to work, teaching them.
Have you ever wondered what you would do if you knew Jesus was going to be in the neighborhood? Would you be hungry enough for his presence that you would drop what you were doing and become his groupie? Who would you want to bring to Jesus for healing and wholeness? Yourself? Your family? Your friends? Your congregation? Reading this week's gospel passage made me wonder. The disciples have returned from their fieldwork assignments, and Jesus invites them for some R&R. They try to get away for some rest. Of course, it doesn't work. The crowds won't leave them alone, particularly just after they have been fed on the mountainside by Jesus, all 5,000 of them, and so I can't blame them. Scholars and researchers studying trends in religion and spirituality tell us that the 21st century faith communities which will thrive are the ones able to reclaim the spirit of the Jesus movement as portrayed in today's pericope. Diana Butler Bass, in her latest book, suggests one way to go about making room for all the people searching for meaning is this. First, we make room for people to belong who seek community. Second, we show them how people of the way treat one another. And lastly, we then claim and name the faith that binds us together, and then we change the world. It's worth trying, don't you think? Just imagine what is possible. And here's a prayer for this week. God, give us the courage to follow Jesus and his way, so we know that we belong and can be made whole. Amen.
In the news this week, 2,500 of us came to Purdue last week, and now we're all back home. The UCC's General Minister and President passed along the praise of our hosts during his Friday morning Twitter Town Hall conversation.
The UCC youth have been the very best. We see groups come through here all the time, but the UCC youth are special. They're different. They're kind. They're polite. They're well-mannered. And so we want you to know right away, you have made your church proud.
Among all the big names and great speakers of the event, however, it was a recent graduate of Fairview High School in Boulder, Colorado, who won everybody's heart. Miah Yager has lived with Down syndrome all her life and has known the pain of discrimination and rejection, but not when addressing 2,500 peers in Elliott Hall at Purdue. When she struggled to get the words out sometimes, they called out with encouragement and love. She spoke of how everybody in high school has to wear the right clothes the right way, how they have to fit in a box. It's not a good thing, she said, to be in a box.
At church, I am accepted as I am, as a person. Being part of a church has given me a community to rap with. I can just be silly, figure in song, or do impressions, and my friends rap.
We can share our ideas and ideals, she said. We can build trust.
We can build a better future.
Young people cheered and cheered as the singers of Tribe of Judah embraced her, and everyone's eyes filled with tears. During NYE, Connecticut's delegation led 2 flash mob dances on behalf of the Outdoor Ministry Association, and OMA also premiered a new video about the power and fragility of the church camp experience, produced by Silver Lake alum Devin Mulvaney. We've also launched a new youth video channel at youtube.com/CTUCCYouth, with its first video highlighting the service trip to NYE. Friday afternoon was filled with a variety of faithful, fit, and fun activities on Purdue's Hello Walk Quadrangle. And then the UCC's officers celebrated communion on a sunny hillside before it was time to board the buses and head home. The Reverend Kathy Peters is pastor of the United Church of Chester, UCC, a longtime chaplain and dean at Silver Lake Conference Center, and she is a parent. She's offered a tribute to Silver Lake on our website this week, recalling the long and deep relationship she and her children have had with the place we call God's backyard. Her daughter Sarah, a highly verbal but intellectually challenged young adult, one who serves as assistant counselor each year for the Sing Praise Conference, will tell everyone who asks that this is her second family. I love Silver Lake, says Peters, because it truly is a place where all God's children are loved and cared for in extraordinary and life-affirming ways. For 10 years, members of the United Churches of Durham, a federated congregation of the UCC and the United Methodist Church, have spent a week working for low-income residents of eastern Kentucky through the Links Agency in Saylorsville. On their most recent trip earlier this month, they were honored with a state proclamation of thanks to the church and the commissioning of 5 church leaders as Kentucky Colonels: Pastor the Reverend Elvin Riggles, David Asplund, Frederick Huntley, Pamela Huntley, and Peter Thompson. During their work week this year, their labors concentrated on repairing damage left by a devastating tornado in the area 6 months ago. We remind you again that the conference profile is now available, and that the search committee seeks candidates for the next conference minister. Who do you know who's equipped and who might be called to take up the challenge to lead? Learn more at ctucc.org/cmprofile. The first materials for the fall session of the Connecticut Conference annual meeting are online, so everybody get ready to go big. The Reverend J. Bennett Guess, Executive for Local Church Ministries of the United Church of Christ, will kick off the meeting with his keynote address. The day will include the business of the conference, as well as inspiring music, enlightening worship, and empowering learning experiences. The fall session will be held at Middletown High School on October 20th. Learn more at ctucc.org/annual meeting. United Black Christians hold their 20th convocation in Hartford this coming week, July 25th through 28th. The UCC Musicians Association Conference is July 29th through August 2nd in Burlington, Vermont. Connecticut's interim ministers invite everyone to their 5th Tuesday discussion series, which takes up the latest trends in faith formation in Hartford on Tuesday, July 31st. Praxis 21, the Center for Progressive Renewal's National Church Leadership Institute, runs August 8th through 10th in Decatur, Georgia, and we hear there are not very many spaces left. Registration is now open for General Association, the Connecticut Conference's annual gathering of authorized ministers, church musicians, and Christian educators, to be held at Silver Lake on September 23rd. Bishop Yvette Flunder of City of Refuge in San Francisco is the keynote speaker. Also on the program, Interim Conference Minister Chuck Wildman, the General Association banquet, and even time on the High Ropes Challenge course. Find out more and register at ctucc.org/GENLASSN. And be sure to visit us on the web for more great events coming up in September at ctucc.org/events. And that brings this ConferenceCast to a close. Thanks to Ineke Mitchell for her reflection, and to GarageBand for our music. Primary funding for ConferenceCast comes from your congregation's gifts to our church's wider mission, basic support, changing lives through the United Church of Christ. This is Eric Anderson, the Minister of Communications and Technology for the Connecticut Conference of the United Church of Christ, praying that your days this week may be filled with the presence, the guidance, and the grace of God.